Happy Friday. So today I'm making Italian wedding soup. So we're gonna get started. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add my chicken broth. It's 8 cups of chicken broth. So I'm gonna give you the recipe for a single batch. Of course, I'm gonna double mine. So you're just gonna get your 8 cups of chicken broth in here. I'm pretty excited about this Italian wedding soup because I really like it. And then I had some leftover broth from when I made my chicken pot pie, so I'm gonna add this. I told you it'd come in handy. All right. Let me get the last of my chicken broth in here. All right. And I wanna get this cooking before I start making the meatballs because all my vegetables are gonna be raw when I put them in. So we wanna get this hot and cooking. All right, and so now I'm gonna add 2 onions. Well, actually it's 1 onion because I am doubling it. So I'm just gonna give you the recipe for 1 batch. 2 cups of carrots. All right. And then I have 2½ teaspoons of garlic, 1 tablespoon of parsley, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and then 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And then I have a teaspoon of pepper and a teaspoon of salt in here. All right, so we're gonna get this cooking. So the broth with the vegetables has been cooking for a little bit, so now we're gonna start the meatballs. So the first thing we're gonna add is a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. And this is a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. And I have in here 1 pound of pork, 1 pound of ground beef. And now I have a teaspoon of parsley and a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of oregano, 1½ teaspoons of garlic. Make sure we get all the garlic. And then 1 egg. I got a double yolker in mine, 1 egg. And then a 1/3 cup of breadcrumbs, but I'm using my super seed. There's my super seed. It is hemp seed, chia seeds, and flax seeds, so 1/3 cup of that. All right, and now we're just gonna mix it. And with the Italian wedding soup, you don't wanna overload it because the pasta, I mean, of course the herbs, but like the meatballs is kind of like the star of the show. So when you make your meatballs, you wanna make them smaller. It's not like making a spaghetti and meatballs. So you wanna make it smaller. This looks so good. And then I'm gonna use my little small scooper. So I'm just gonna get this mixed up. And then when I'm done mixing this up, I'm gonna put some avocado oil. It says to use olive oil, but I use avocado oil. You're gonna put that in the bottom of a pan. You're gonna scoop your meatballs in there, and then you're going to brown them. I would not overcook them because you're gonna add them to your soup, and the soup still needs to cook for a little bit, so you don't want your meat to be way overdone. So I would just do it enough to where you brown the outside. And I haven't added my pasta yet or my spinach because they both cook fast. And the onions, and you can also put celery in it. The onions, celery, the carrots, they're gonna take longer to soften. So I'm just got some chunks in here I wanna take care of. So today is Friday. It is my son's last home game as a senior. It's gonna be so emotional. So I thought, well, let's get some soup going. It's a nice fall day. All right, so I got this mixed up. Make sure you get the bottom there. It looks wonderful, really nice. All right, so I'm gonna go wash my hands, come back, and then we're gonna add it to the oil and start browning it so we could get it to our veggies and stock. All right, so I got my oil heating up. I'm actually using avocado oil. So what I'm gonna do is use my small scooper because you wanna keep your meatballs small. And I'm just gonna scoop them out, put them in here into the hot oil, and you just wanna brown them. You don't want them completely done because I'm gonna stick them in the liquid and it still has to cook for a little bit, so you just don't want them overdone. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So we're just gonna scoop them. So I'm just gonna keep doing this. Our soup is gonna have a lot of meatballs. But you know what too, is I can also save this if it just seems like it's gonna be too much. I just never know sometimes what portions to do for my family. I'm having to not only double things, but I'm having to quadruple them. My daughter Haley wasn't too impressed with my panda ears today. She's like, what is that? I said, I'm a panda today. Look at my little cute sweatshirt. It's a bat sweatshirt. Found it at Target. Absolutely adorable. So this shouldn't take too long, you guys, because you're just browning them just to cook them on the outside. They will cook a little bit, but they're kind of small, so you gotta really watch them. Yeah, like I said before, big game today. It's a beautiful day outside. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. All right, I'm actually gonna shove these in here. I mean, they're not gonna stick because they got cheese and the oil, and so I'm not worried about them sticking together. The more I can put in the pan, the better, you know? All right, we got our first set going here. All right. So I'm just gonna cook these up and then just kind of flip them. Yeah, they're cooking really fast. Just wanna flip them over. There we go. You can almost just kind of stir them. I mean, they're gonna stay together for you. It's a really, with the cheese and the egg, they're not gonna fall apart. So just gonna flip these up. Like I said, they're not gonna be 100% done, so don't freak out if you see a little red. It's okay. They're gonna cook in the hot liquid of the soup. All right, let me get the rest of these flipped. I'm kind of lazy. I don't want to roll them. So if you want to roll them so they're beautiful, go ahead. This is just super fast for me. All right. Got a couple more in here. Gonna roll over. I'm gonna get the last of these into my container so we can transfer them over to my soup. We're also going to add the noodles to it, the pasta. It calls for anything small. I just had the shells and they're kind of small, but normally you do like a really small noodle. I think you could pick what you wanted, make it your own. All right, so now we're gonna take it over to our soup. Okay, the soup looks great. Stir that up a little bit. Now I'm gonna add the meatballs. There we go. I'm gonna stir that up a little bit. And then those will continue to cook in this broth. And now I'm gonna add my noodles. I used the medium shell noodles. I'm not gonna put too many though. I think I'm only gonna do half a box to start. This is a 1 pound box, so I'm gonna do just 8 ounces. And if that looks good, let me stir that in. And now it calls for 2 cups of spinach. Open that up. I'm gonna use my hands as 2 cups. All right, sorry about that. Somebody's trying to get a hold of my husband. All right, now I'm just gonna stir in the spinach. And it doesn't take long for this spinach to wilt, so I'm gonna stir that in. Then I'm gonna put the lid back on. And I'm gonna cook it for probably another hour or 2 just to make sure these noodles are done. And the veggies are done. All right, I'm gonna put the lid on that. And then I'm gonna continue to cook it. And when we come back, you're actually gonna see it done. I'm so excited. All right, you guys, it's done. Seriously, it's amazing. Look, you guys, holy gamoles. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. If you find that you didn't have enough liquid, you can always add some more chicken broth if you want. Isn't that pretty?